we stopped by the CD Projekt booth here at E3 to, well, get a look at The Witcher 3 Wild Hunt. Kind of a different Witcher experience. Would you agree?
Yeah, it's well, we kind of wanted to do the same kind of deep storytelling, so that side's the same. Combat's a lot different though now, and it's set in an open world environment, so you can just basically go anywhere you want to play the game. So that's the big change, is that it's open world.
Of course, we've seen a lot of open world RPGs. What do you think? What is the challenge there in making a great open world RPG?
I think depth of storytelling and depth of character is important to people, and you kind of lose that when you have a huge world that you have to populate so much content. So that's what we're trying to do, is sort of try to push the genre forward a little bit by really focusing on story and character, and I think that's how we're going to make our difference.
Sounds like you're really trying to distract the player as he goes along his way on the main quest with a lot of different things, but it feels like those side quests, those things, are equally important, and sort of the story behind them is like as deep as you'd expect any sort of main story to be.
Yeah, it's important to us. Even side quests, all the characters need real motivation, and there needs to be like some strategy, like behind killing a monster or something. You just don't go out and like thrash monsters sort of in a shallow way. You have to actually figure out how to kill the thing. So that's why we implemented this sort of senses mode. So you kind of have to track through and look for monster tracks and look for carnage that is killed and find these clues. Then you like refer to your bestiary and sort of figure out what this monster is and figure out how to actually strategically attack him. And we're doing that everywhere. And it's the same with the storytelling, the side quests. A lot of times things you do on side quests may have some impact on main storyline as well. You might kill the wrong guy that could be helping you later in the game, for instance.
So I feel that the Witcher senses really lends themselves to sort of more authentically portray what's in the books as Geralt hunts monsters in the book. It's often about that hunt and that negotiations with the townsfolk and talking to them and trying to find out how things are tied together.
Yeah.
Is that something that was entered your mind as well when you were designing this?
Yeah, it's one of the core things in the canon, in the Sapkowski books. The guy's basically just a mutant monster killer. So we wanted to get back to those basics, but at the same time, there's like kind of an epic story going on. So it's kind of perfect for open world because we've got all these monster hunting quests that we're building into the game, along with the side quests and sort of the random encounters. And then you've got this really killer epic main story, but it's all set against this sort of backdrop of this sort of Nilfgaardian army attacking the north. So for us, it's quite layered and deep kind of storytelling and really interesting gameplay. And then, of course, this monster hunting thing is really sort of brings back the core values of The Witcher is.
And of course, the main storyline ties into the Wild Hunt, the sort of the undertitle of the game. Could you tell us something about that and sort of why Geralt is so personally involved in this?
We can't reveal that yet, but if you're really interested in finding out, and your fans and stuff, it's there is a lot of reference to Wild Hunt in the original books. So, but the show here, we're not allowed to sort of talk about what those guys are. But it is the main point we're trying to make, though, that is it's a sort of a personal story for Geralt. He's not involved in like the political machinations so much like he was in Witcher 2. So you'll find out soon enough.
I got the feeling that it's somehow tied to Norse mythology a little bit. Am I looking in the right direction?
Yeah, we're using some Slavic myth and even I guess in some cases Germanic myth and Nordic myth and even Celtic myth, and that helps us kind of create our monsters and our sort of backdrop. But this idea of this Wild Hunt actually comes, I think, from some Germanic myth, and I think that's where Sapkowski got it as well. So that's really all I can say about it. It's hard. It's scary for me to go into too much detail because I'm going to spoil some cool kind of PR thing that we're going to do in a few months. So we gotta save some of this really cool shit for later, Yeah.
And you briefly mentioned how you changed up the combat. I think one thing that was really nice is the effects that you sort of have on the world we got to see a monster who really transformed the world as he attacked you. Got to see how when Geralt uses his signs, how the sort of just the ambience of the whole world changes.
Yeah.
I think that's really cool thing.
Yeah, that stuff is really important to us, man. The thing that really blew my mind with this demo is when you go to sort of this precipice and you're meditating and you can see the star fields changing around, and then it gets really stormy, and you look down at the sort of fjord area and the sea is like getting more violent and stuff like that, and it's getting really windy, and for me it just changes the atmosphere, and it's like a really good way to immerse the player into the world, because it just changes really dynamically and realistically, and we can do stuff with physics and so forth. So physicalized objects are like blowing in the wind, hair is blowing correctly, the fire is all blowing, the smoke is blowing, and right now we're only like halfway through production, so we still have lots of really cool graphical features going in, so it's going to be even more intense later on.
So the code that we saw was pre-alpha. Where are you at in development, and sort of what's left to do, and when do you aim to be done?
We want to be done and be released next year sometime. We're not like committing to a date yet because there's just so much work to do. But yeah, pre-alpha means we're still in production. We're still like creating quests and building out the world and creating monsters and creating characters and writing dialogue, and I mean we're right in the thick of it now. So we're headed towards alpha, and what alpha is just like, it's like a content feature complete game, and that's kind of where we're at right now.
Are you working on the next gen consoles in parallel, and will those come out at the same time, or what's the plan there?
Yeah, the technology is coming together in the Red Engine 3, and it's a cross-platform technology. So we really just started working with the kits, the PS4 and Xbox One kits, but that's all going to be done in parallel because it's important for us to be able to launch at the same time. So yeah.
Thank you very much for your time.
Okay, thank you very much.